places today, and it is some big money. 68 teams. Big shout out to all the sponsors, the spectators that came, anglers from traveling over 12 states.
We got a lot of changes out there with the weather, the water, but it's going to be a great day here in Alton, Illinois. Hey, we're here in Alton, Illinois for the season opener for the Twisted Cat Outdoors 2023 season. We got 68 teams from over 12 states.
Nate's been down that thing for almost 2 weeks. Okay, that's a nice one.
Not bad, not bad.
Oh, look at that.
There you go, turn around here and show that crowd.
The weather's a little rough today. We have some high water, some stuff floating down, but it's gonna be a good day. Big payout, 100% payout, $500 on big fish added. We're really excited to get this season kicked off. A lot of new things coming with Twisted Cat Outdoors this season. A big shout out to the sponsors and the anglers and the spectators, everybody that supported us to get here. Like I said, you don't want to miss this season.
Whoa, 67.62 pounds. Do these guys around well? That is a monster. Go ahead and take him out and take him, Cody.
The other thing is this. I would often have right now. There you go. Come on.
Turn around, take the crowd there.
Oh my.
Solid.
Oh my, that was close.
Close, 67.62 pounds. Give these guys a round of applause. That is a monster.
Got it, solid weight.
3 real solid fish. Number 2. That's a good bag, guys.
All right.
We got some suspense going now.
Can we close?
All right, 25.30 big.
Oh my goodness.
Bounce around.
We are locked 70.71 pounds.
They did it. 70.71.
Oh boy.
Second place, 70.05.
Whoa, we got
That's
some
close.
fish in here. This team Mike Butler. Good fish.
There you go.
Good job, guys. Get some photos.
Okay, third place with 68.59. Justin Thornton and Dwayne Buckridge. Third place, $2,720. Woo! Second place was 70.05. Montpeel, Pete Moreland, Kevin Hoffman, $4,533. First place in Alton, Illinois, 70.71, not much more than second place. Jason Hamilton, Eddie Henney, John Berglund, $9,066.
Everything we caught on the same exact spot, same way we caught them on Thursday.
Was there trash that affected those spots at all?
Absolutely.
Did you fish in the trash?
We tried to stay out of the trash, stay on cleaner water. There was quite a bit of trash coming down, but by about 10 o'clock we were out of the trash. Trash was already down and coming on down the river, and that was a big plus for us.
And we got a lot of new things coming. We're really excited. Thanks, like I said, we had a good kickoff for the 2023 season, 68 teams here in Alton, Illinois. So everybody have a safe trip home, and we'll see you here in a few weeks.
All right, hey, we're live. That video gets me fired up every time I watch it. We're going to talk about Truman Lake, our second event coming up. We got guest Jason Smith from Columbia, Missouri, and Coyote Joe Lunsford from Dittmer, Missouri. We're going to bring those guys on here in just a second. And like I said, talk about our upcoming event, stop number 2. This is episode number 4, if we're calling them episodes. So doing this every Monday night at 7 o'clock, trying to bring value to the anglers and talk about catfishing. So Real quick, I'm going to show the website, share my screen, and go over a couple things really quick. Let's see. All right, there we go. Registration. Here's the twistedcatoutdoors.com. You're going to go to registration and Truman Lake. Click here. Right now we have 15 teams registered. You can still register through the week. You can register Friday night at Bucksaw. You can also register Saturday morning. Everything this weekend will take out of Bucksaw Resort and Marina. We'll take off there and return there. So when you hit that registration link on the site, you're going to come to this page and you're going to drop down. And then you're going to have register a new team, view currently registered teams. So that's who's registered so far. And then here's, you just click this and then that'll walk you to registration. And then we'll go back. And then this is, like I said, this is the website. Some people asked about the merchandise that we've had at some of these events. The hats and stuff are up on the website. Some of the new hats that we got. So you can buy those online if you're not at an event. And that's the website. Let's bring this back in. Okay, so like I said, any questions during this video? We're watching the comments, got the comments pulled up. We're going to go over a lot of things, the slot limit, the 2 overs, the 3 unders, the flatheads, all that stuff. Again, it's a $300 entry fee. 1 to 3 anglers per boat. It'll be 2 overs, 3 unders, or 5 unders, whatever it is. The most you can have is 2 unders. And then flatheads will not be in the slot. 100% payout. $500 big fish from Castaway Customs on top of that. And Mid-Kansas Marine is doing $250 to CR boat random draw. And then if you also bought your engine or boat from Mid-Kansas, they're going to throw another $250 for $500 for that. And again, really excited about our second event. And then we just heard some news today that we're going to hopefully announce tomorrow about a championship. Pretty excited about it. So if you've been a part of any of the championships we've done the last 2 years, you're going to really, really love what we got coming up. So let's go ahead and bring in Jason and Joe and see what we can learn from these guys.
I hope it's not a lot.
How you guys doing tonight?
Good. Fantastic. How about you?
Good. It's a beautiful Monday night, cold, a little rainy. Just like before our Alton event, it was a Monday night and it was supposed to be 40. The weather changed for the better and it ended up being like mid 60s and sunny. This weekend's not looking like that. Again, we always talk about, what if, as an angler and especially tournament angler, you go to an event and it's never going to be sunny and 70. It's never going to be the best fishing weather, So, yeah. And Jason, you were looking at the weather. So how's it looking? Not good?
Tournament days, what, a high of 32, I think we just seen, or 30,
Yeah,
32, 34?
Well, it keeps fluctuating between 42 and 32, so we're gonna have to see what happens there.
I think cold nights,
42
and it's going to be a cold, brisk morning.
You better have your enclosures and your heaters ready to go.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. What do you think? Because I think it said it's like 65 on Thursday with thunderstorms.
Yep.
And then it just drops.
Plummets from there. Yep. The high of 32 on Friday and then high of 32 again on Saturday. It's going to be cold. Hopefully the winds aren't too terrible, but I don't think with the cold front coming in, we're going to get that luck either. So
It's a typical Twisted Cat tournament. It always has been good weather and then like an extreme weather change a day or 2 days before your tournaments. I don't know what you do with the weather and like if you have bad mojo with the weather gods or something, but you need to do some rain dances or not rain dances, but like some dry weather dances or something.
Yeah, I don't want to do a rain dance, maybe dry weather or warm weather, but like I said, Alton ended up being the water and everything was kind of rough, but other than that, it was still good. The weather-wise, besides the water jumping 8 feet and having trash and all that. But I think we're going to you got to have those. That's what makes us better anglers when we're out there and have rough weather.
You got to learn to deal with the conditions, catch some fish.
Yeah, make adjustments to what you think you know and say, throw that out the window and let's go this direction.
Yeah. So you think it'll kind of be like an Alton all over again, where it makes it a little bit, rougher to catch fish. You're going to have to not go to that one spot where you think the fish are always biting. Kind of have to work.
I think it's definitely going to change that pattern that people are typically fishing this time of year. I think this cold front's going to really push those fish around and make that bite a little rougher.
Yeah, we were just talking before we jumped on a couple of years ago. I think it's 3 years ago now. Everything was flooded, and we had to like throw a Hail Mary. So we put on a tournament in Warsaw, end of June. I mean, you could not put your boat in like anywhere in the Midwest. I remember, Jason, you were there. Current was rocking. I mean, ripping. Like everybody was walking baits on the upper side of Lake of the Ozarks, and the amount of fish that was caught at that event was wild.
Huge amounts of fish. Yeah, we get that current flowing on that upper end of the lake, and it really puts them fish into a feeding frenzy.
I guess he had to step out real quick.
He had to. Did you install the fiber at his place?
There he is.
Joe did.
I really did install the fiber, but I swear it's good.
No, I got a phone call. Sorry, I'm a busy guy. I got 2 businesses going, so my phone is constantly ringing.
Yeah, well, I can imagine. So this weekend, you're actually going to be guiding, so you won't even be able to fish the event.
Yeah, I want to fish
another
the event.
thing is Spoonbill opens up in state of Missouri Thursday?
On Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
Yeah, runs the 15th through April 30th is whenever the end of season is. So 45 days of some big fish. So a lot of fun. We get a lot of people out on the water, and we boat a lot of big fish. So.
But he makes sure
I've
he
never done
the
that.
CR Owners Invitational.
I do make that tournament.
So it ends right before then?
No, I actually take that week off to go to Bama and fish that tournament. It's a tournament that I really like fishing in Alabama, and it's a tournament I try to make every year. So I actually take that week off of guiding and make that trip to Alabama.
Yeah. That's this will be my first year not fishing that tournament in 9 years.
How different is that going to be for you? I mean,
I'll probably shed a few tears.
Fishing it to having to work it and spectate it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll still enjoy it, because I still do the tournament directing obviously a lot, but I love being on both sides. I mean, I love competing. I love all that stuff and all the friendships that you gain. But it's going to be tough because I love making the side bets like what we do at the events.
Right.
I won't be able to do that. Maybe I'll still make some bet where if, I'll bet you $100 you don't weigh over 100 pounds or something like that. But
we'll still
it's going to be a little different. Yeah, a little different. So Falconberry jumped on, said it's going to be a good one. So, and he also commented it was great in 2019 because I think they won that, right?
I believe they did win that tournament. Yep.
And was he with Casey too?
I think he was with Casey and Josh on that tournament. Yep.
Where are you guys seeing these comments at? I'm not seeing any of these comments.
On the far right side, hit comments and then it'll show up. What's up, Randy and Eddie?
There we go. Look, Randy, everybody. What's going on, fellas?
Yeah. Hey, Bill. Bill's ready. He's signed up, ready to go. He's already working on some side bets.
When he gets, I'm ready for you, buddy.
I bet. Stop talking about it.
And mine for
So the water temp is 46 degrees. Is that what you guys are saying?
Yeah.
46
right around
degrees
there.
for what I just seen.
What about bait? Was there any kind of a shad kill this year on that lake, or?
I think there was some on that lake. That lake froze over a couple times there during the winter, and that usually causes shad kill. I think it was a pretty minimal shad kill this year. I don't think it was real crazy like typical years. We had a pretty mild winter here, so I didn't see near the dead shad that we typically see.
What do you think a winning bag would be this weekend if you had the best? Because it's obviously you have the slot. For some of you watching that don't understand that, it's 26 to 34 inches. You cannot have that. That
makes
tough.
things very difficult. Very difficult.
Yeah. Especially if you catch a lot. I mean, is there a chance you go out there and catch a ton of fish in the slot?
Oh that's
yeah.
what
I
we
have
did
days where
our last tournament. All we caught was slot fish. It was ridiculous. We threw back so many 20-pound fish that
Joe was having.
I was ready to
time
jump in the
Lake
water and drown myself.
Yeah, we did definitely guiding and or tournament fishing. We have days where, I'm in it some days to send the people home with some eater fish, and we're catching 20 slot fish, and I'm lucky if I catch 10 eater fish, but we're still catching 30, 40 fish a day. So we do play with that slot where it does hinder some. Even in the tournament, we fished. We caught a few overs pre-fishing. A tournament we fished here at Lake of the Ozarks a couple weeks ago, and we could not catch an over, but we caught 15 or 20 slots the day of the tournament.
Yeah,
couldn't get a fish for the live well except for unders.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, Joe was flipping out seeing all those 15-pound fish going back in the lake.
Yeah, I was not happy about that.
So I think a winning bag. There's a good chance somebody can really land a good fish, get a 60 or 70 out of this lake. And 20s are very common anymore. I think that's one thing the slot is doing is we catch a bunch of 20s, 22, 24, 25s. I think a winning bag, if a man could catch the right fish, really could weigh in, 110 to 130 pounds.
I really
possibilities of bigger, but I think with the 2 unders and those 3 fish, if a man can get 2 25-pound fish and hit a 40 in the same day, he can really get up there in that 120, 130 range.
I'm saying 111 pounds.
111.
111.
111. That's incredible.
I don't think I'm going to get it, but I think someone will.
I don't think that we ever got over 80 pounds at Lake of the Ozarks in March tournaments.
Really?
So, that's crazy. March and April are probably 2 of my favorite months for catching big fish at the lake. And we boated an 85 out of Lake of the Ozarks in April last year. And really I catch more big fish that time of the year than most other times of the year, in my opinion. A lot of 40s, a lot of 50s. Truman produces some big fish, but it seems like you catch a lot more 20s up there. A lot of eater fish in both lakes. I mean, both lakes are overpopulated with, half pound to 3 pound fish.
Do you think that slot helps the fish get bigger, or what's your thoughts on the slot?
It helps them fish get to 20 pounds. But, the people that can't keep slot fish that are there for the meat are going to keep all them 22-pound fish. So it does help those fish get there. We definitely don't have a problem with breeding in the lakes. I mean, even conservation, I did an expo, and we were talking about the populations of small catfish in both of those lakes. And as a conservation agent, he just kind of told me, man, I wish they would open it up and let people just keep as many 2-pounders as they wanted, because that would really help us grow more big fish in these lakes. Missouri's really trying hard to make these two lakes have better populations of big fish and make it a destination for big blue cats. So kudos to the conservation department for working on that.
Yeah, and Truman is always, since I was a little kid, it's supposed to have been like the catfish mecca reservoir of the Missouri area anyway. I'm not sure about United States, but Truman was always, what you heard about as a kid, where that's where giants were caught. You didn't really hear about the lakes and the other lakes and rivers as much as you did Truman Reservoir. And there's some big fish in there.
Yeah, they catch really big fish out of there every year. There's some really nice flathead in that lake too. It's a little cold. There's always a chance of catching a flathead. I'll tell you, we catch very little of them in Lake of the Ozarks. I probably catch 4 or 5 a year, not targeting them. I always target the blue cat, but we catch about 4 or 5 a year there. When I'm on Truman, I catch quite a few small ones, crappie fishing, so I know there's a really good population up there. I just don't target flathead myself, but I know there's a lot of good flathead on Truman, and always the chance of catching a good one of those too.
Well, I think it's still a little cold, don't you think?
Sure. I think it is. I don't think they feed real heavily this time of year, but you never know. Somebody put a bait in the right spot, and that fish is hungry, it's going to eat it. So,
100%. So on the slot, what would you say the biggest fish is in the under?
About 8 pounds. Usually 8. If it's real fat, it might get 9 or 9.5, but usually about 8 pounds. That slot runs about 8 to 22, depending on if that fish is a female, male, and what it's really got in its stomach. But that's about what I see the slot being, is 8 to 10, and then that 20 to 22 pound range. And you can get a long male that's 18 pounds too. I mean, you get some long, skinny males. They don't weigh much.
Yeah, I know Wade Kaminsky, they had caught the same fish in the March tournament and in the championship in October. And I think they called it Lieutenant Dan, but it had a broken tail. I've never seen a fish like it.
Oh, is that the one from Wheeler?
No, this is Lake of the Ozarks.
Oh, different.
And they caught the same fish in 2 different tournaments?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, the crazy thing is that fish was caught where they caught it, released at the check where you weighed it, and then they caught that same fish somewhere in that lake again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And there's a lot of fishing. I mean, both those lakes, you know what I mean? But just like what Falkenberry said, more big fish this time of year. The unders are chunky. Someone will ding a couple 40s and some chunk unders for 25-ish and 3. He says 105's his predictions. 40s.
Yeah, I don't think 130 is a high prediction, what I think somebody could hit, but realistically, I'm going to agree in the 100 to 110 range. That's where what will win this tournament. I definitely think 30s, 40s, and even a 50, possible 60 could be caught. But this time of the year, if they're in the right spot, man, it can be really on fire this time of year. Like I said, I think the cold front's going to kind of mess with it a little bit, but
that's going to hurt things a little bit. And then, going back to what Jason Hamilton has to say here.
Let's go on that real quick.
To do's and don'ts pertaining to the lake, I'm going to let Jason chime in on this one, because it's a lake that there's a lot of do's and don'ts.
Talk about, the hidden stump fields, the water being low or high, a brand new angler coming there. What is something, obviously you've got your Navionics, you're doing a little research before you go there, but are there things that you're going to see that you've maybe not seen at Lake of the Ozarks or Wheeler?
Oh yeah. Truman is known for its trees. And if you don't know that, especially that end of the lake, if you don't know it, you need to learn it before you run it fast, because you
have a good map card.
You can tear up your boat real quick up there. Every bend, every turn. I mean, there's trees everywhere, and you don't know that you're in them sometimes, and you look down and you're in treetops. And really, that's the biggest thing up there is learn to know the lake before you run around just acting crazy, because it can be bad.
And basically, you're gonna feel like a drift car driver there by the time you leave that lake. Those turns go 90 degrees for a long direction, and so you'll be sliding through, and just make sure you stay in those channels, because if you get outside that channel, throttle down, motor up, and make sure you take it easy.
Yeah, I think you do your fair amount of graphing. You'll know where you're safe and not. But if you haven't been up there, just be aware that there's trees everywhere. That lake was not cleared when they built it, so it's farmers' fields and fence rows and creek bottoms and tree lines, and it just can be dangerous. And if you got an extra prop, you might want to bring it.
Yeah. Jason asks, is it high or low right now?
It's 1 foot over
1
normal
foot.
pool, so it's really at level. Even at level, you go around any corner, and if you see trees, expect them to be 10 to 15 foot out past the trees you see, because usually you're looking at a hillside. I got battery issues.
Yeah, and I mean, if anybody has any problems down there, Truman Lake Marina has all kinds of props. They're going to be there ready to help somebody out if they need to. So definitely somebody to hit up if you have any issues.
Do you carry an extra prop, Joe?
I do carry an extra prop. I carry 2 extras for my trolling motor and 1 extra for my motor.
Now you were working on your trolling motor at Alton, right?
I was, yeah. I was out there on the Mississippi, and I was sitting there fishing a wing dike, and a barge came through that was pushing some tremendous waves, picked me up, set me down right on top of a rock, and blade hit the rock, and I have a little bit of vibration now.
But she still works, all right?
No, she's still good to go. Still good to go.
Oh man, that's smart to have props. I've seen, people backing their boat in, and their prop hits the trailer wrong, the tongue, and it snaps their prop blade off. They got one. I mean, just little things like that. As an angler, you just learn, having an extra prop or little things like that go a long ways.
Yeah. I mean, any little thing will help you along. You always be prepared for the unexpected. You never know what's going to happen out there. If it costs you a couple $100, they have something extra out there that's going to make your life a little better when the unexpected happens. Might as well grab it.
Yeah. What do you think? Is it an anchor bite still at this temp? I know some people talk about, the last couple of years, everybody loves it's bumping, it's dragging, it's moving. It's not the anchor bite, you know what I mean? But it's late.
I understand it.
It's cold. What do you guys think? Do you try all of it? Is it
It's
just
still too cold.
too cold to drag?
Too cold.
Yeah,
you might be able to drag really, really slow, but I mean, how much ground are you going to cover at 0.2 to 0.3 miles an hour versus anchoring up on some fish that you see on your sonar,
True.
Yeah, we're fishing the lake. I fished the lake all winter, and we're still on an anchor bite down there too. So both lakes would be on an anchor bite, in my opinion, as well.
So you can find a lot of shallow water, you think?
Okay, up on Truman, where you guys were fishing?
It's all
you
shallow.
have no problem finding shallow water up on that end, yeah.
It's all shallow.
You're real close to an area that is nothing but 15-foot or shallower for square miles of water. So you definitely have apple shallow water up there. And I think you got good choices both directions coming out of Bucksaw. You got deep water areas where you're going to have some good creek channels, people fishing ledges and deeper flats, and then you got people that are going to want to fish shallow. And the shallow water bite has been pretty good, but with cold fronts, it's on and off, hit or miss when they're actually up in there. So, one day we'll go up shallow and we'll catch 40 fish and 2 or 3 overs, and then the next day we're fishing shallow, and we're lucky to pull a couple slots and some eaters, and we find them out on the ledges those days typically. So
Yeah, I'm excited. And like I said, I love river tournaments. I live on the river, but lake tournaments, they just have a different feel with, kind of like Lake of the Ozarks, you did the Rock Resort, and you stay there, and your boat's on a dock, and just like I think Joe, you're staying at Bucksaw, and you're going to leave your boat in the water.
Yeah.
So that morning, you don't have to put your boat in. You can boat over to me. We'll check your live well, get you checked in, and then you can go. So I mean, that's pretty neat. I like that. You don't have to do a lot of extra things in the morning. Kind of stay there, hang out there all week. They got a restaurant. Just kind of fun. We don't get to do a lot of lake events this year. Right now, it's the only lake tournament we have. I mean, other than that, it's the Ohio River, it's the Mississippi River.
We got Oklahoma.
Keystone. Hey, you're right.
Yeah,
Keystone Lake.
Yep.
And speaking of Keystone Lake, it holds the world record spoonbill.
Yeah, I mean,
is that Keystone?
But what about Blue Cat?
They have really good blue cat in that lake too. It's a real good blue cat destination.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking pretty forward to the new destinations this year that you put together for sure. That everything. I was ready for last year and like, oh yeah, I got all these areas picked out and I'm ready to go. And then you threw us a curveball and it's like, well, crap. Now I don't know nothing. And it's learning all over again. You keep us on our toes every damn year, it seems like.
Yeah. But it's fun. Like we always say, the anglers that follow the trails that kind of go to different waters. I mean, you can adapt and change and learn so much from going to, a really good flathead fishery in Channel Cat in Muscatine, Iowa to Jeffersonville on the Ohio River in Indiana, and then to Cape Girardeau and then over to Keystone. And once you start putting those things together, you just become a good angler, and then you can travel and learn little things here and there. And like I said, where I plan on announcing hopefully tomorrow where we're going to go for a championship.
Hopefully tomorrow, man, you're killing us. You're killing us with all this.
I know. I want to confirm it, but
you keep on bringing us suspense and not giving us nothing here.
We've been working so hard, man, and I'm excited about that. So it's just going to new areas. I enjoy it as a director and as an angler too. So and we're going to a lot of new places this year. Like I said, Muscatine and Keystone and Truman, and we just left a crazy body of water in Alton. Now we're going to Truman.
Yeah, from one extreme to the other.
It is pretty extreme.
I know, and I was thinking it was going to be just beautiful because 2 years ago at Lake of the Ozarks this time of year at Osage Beach, it was beautiful. I mean, sunny, 75. Obviously, that brought the yachts there, so we had rough water, but it was still fun, and a lot of people caught fish. But I still, talking to anglers over the years, it seems like everybody's wanted to go to Truman. The fishing's better up there. So obviously we didn't hit it perfect, with the cold front, but maybe the cold front hits Thursday and it kind of lets them not freak out. And then Saturday, maybe they start to bite a little bit, I hope. But you don't want to go there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week and think you're on a pattern, because it's going to might as well throw it away.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to flip like a switch. You get a good day or two. Be different.
Yeah, I'm going to go down and do some fun fishing, and, whatever happens Friday, Saturday, it'll be a whole different story. But I'm going to fill the freezer up while I'm down there because I ain't eating those Mississippi fish.
Yeah. So do you think so on Friday, are you going to pre-fish Friday and try to think that will determine what Saturday looks like?
I still don't even think that's going to determine Saturday, because it's just going to be happening Friday and they're going to be moving is what I think. So I think Saturday is just going to be, everybody's going to have to get onto a different game plan and try stuff they haven't tried and, head for deeper holes, I believe.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jason?
I think I think with cloud cover and cold temps, they probably won't be in that 2 to 3 foot of water like everybody's going to hope they're going to be. I know that's where I want them to be this time of year. But I'm a firm believer that blue cat don't move that far. So if you catch them somewhere one day, you're going to find them somewhere relative to where you were at the next day. Whether they're biting or not is the big question. I think that cold front can really shut down a bite. But I've had really good days on a cold front, so let's hope for the good days and big weigh-ins.
That's right.
Do you try to scan for them to even in that? I mean, how do you really know that they're in that shallow water? I mean, will you see them kind of?
Oh yeah, spot fish? I can scan. I found over time that I used to, when I first started using my electronics, I didn't really know what I was looking for. But now, whenever I'm scanning, probably as shallow as 3 foot of water, I can really still pick out some catfish, especially when it's those big ones. It really just is. It looks like a black ball down the side of your side scan when it's coming by. So unless it's a brush pile, we do have brush in those areas too, or stumps. But typically, I know where I've been in there enough. I know what I'm looking for, and when they're there, I know they're there.
Yeah, we call those school bus size shad.
The shad, big shad balls.
Yeah.
So when you go into that shallow water, do you always obviously shut your big motor off and try to be as quiet as possible? Do you think dropping weights on your boat, does that scare fish away?
I when I'm guiding, I do it a slightly different approach. Some people are all about coming in as quiet as they can. Now, I don't want to be dropping weights and thugging stuff around my boat. Even driving a boat in, if you're looking at our side scan's good enough now, you can see the direction the fish is facing. And when you're in shallow water, you can tell those fish are running from your boat. So I'm more about get my boat where I want it and cast as far away from my boat as I can. Try to be semi-quiet, but if I'm scanning with my big motor and I shut it down and I see fish, I'm going to park my boat right there and I'm going to cast far out from my boat until I get some settle time, and those fish will move back towards the boat. I find that it doesn't take very long typically. Those fish are hungry and curious, and that's all they're doing is swimming looking for food most of the time. So,
and on the bigger lakes, they're kind of used to the music and loud noises and all that stuff versus, a river where not as many people are out there full time as the lake is, So, I mean, they have to get used to some kind of noise on a lake is what I would imagine anyway.
Yeah, I think they don't get quite as spooky. Coming out of winter, maybe a little bit more. They haven't had that boat traffic in the last 6 months, 4 or 5 months, but I really find, I sit in a lot. I probably 4 months of the year, I'm sitting in 5 foot or less of water. And during those months of the year, I catch fish moderately close to the boat, even big fish during that time of the year. So really, yes, I try to be semi-cautious, but if I drop a sinker, I'm not going to pack up and leave if I know those fish are there. If they're feeding, they're going to eat if I can get a bait in front of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I never would have thought you guys would think it would be over 100 pounds in this weekend, for the 2 over 300. But if you get the chunky unders and you get a good over, I don't think the flat.
If they can catch 320s and 2 unders put you about 75 pounds, 80 pounds. Right. So a 40 would put them at 100. If they can get a 40 and 2 under, even guiding, we don't catch a lot of 3-day over days. There's days where I catch 4, 5, 6 overs, but usually it's 1 or 2 overs a day.
So what is the poundage for an over generally down there?
About 22 pounds is where I see they start. In between, you can get some skinny long males that are 18, and I see that they get up to 22, 23-ish. But I tell everybody it's 10 to 20, but it's more like 8 to 20 to 22 pounds.
Right.
Is about where that slot is. Really depends. This time of year, they're really, winter time and this time of year, they're really fat. The females are starting to put some eggs in them. So they're getting a little egg weight. So you can get some females that are 25 24, 25 pounds just starting at the upper end of the slot if they got enough eggs in them.
Yeah, and somebody had asked actually in another post about how we measure fish. So Kevin Parks made a ruler, so we use his ruler, and we weigh them on their belly. I put my hand on their head, put them up against the tip of the ruler, and then squeeze their tail and swipe. So the goal is that I'm trying to get them to go over that 26 or over that 34.
Yep.
So it's very important of swiping the tail.
Kind of stretch them, right? Pushing them.
Yeah. So I mean, it's, and I'll show that Friday night at the meeting, and then we'll show it again Saturday. It's just important because as points are important as doing good, you don't want to risk getting disqualified in an event and not get points, for a fish that's being too close. So,
well, I think, a lot of people got to understand that a bump board and a tape measure, they all read different. If you got questions, come up to your
100%.
bump board and check their bump board on your bump board to make positive, because that
Yeah, I'll
corner can be
have it out.
something small.
100%. I'll have it out that you can come check your board, against what we're going to measure fish on. And, yeah, it's important. We'll measure every single fish. I love it. I'll have my gloves on. Every fish. Every fish.
Well, good chance conservation is going to start being out with it being snagging opening weekend. We do see a big influx of conservation at our areas.
Yeah.
Several times a week, they'll see, they'll come up and check you while you're cleaning fish on shore. They'll just check you while you're fishing. So, good chance conservation will be out running the lake. So everybody needs to be aware that they have their proper safety equipment and everything and their boat up to snuff, because they do start coming out about this time of the year. We start seeing them pretty heavy. Water patrol will be patrolling, that kind of stuff.
Yep. And so it might be a good time to break into where you're going to be at this weekend, Jason.
Where me?
Yeah,
I'm going to be fishing. I will
be?
tell you, I will be on upper end Lake of the Ozarks paddle fishing for the Spoonbill opener of 2023. We will be doing Spoonbill catfish combos most trips. And it's going to be a fun year. I got a fully booked schedule. The only day I do not have booked at this point is March 30th. If anybody's interested, you can contact me on my website or through find my phone number. Best Fishing Adventures, anyway. But yeah, it's going to be a fun year. We got a huge paddlefish population. I've been out catfishing up in the area for the last couple weeks, and we really seems like we got a lot of good resident fish up in the area. So we're going to have a good week up in my home territory up there. And then we'll have to follow the Spoonbill around and see where they go.
Heck yeah.
And how long have you been guiding now?
This is my third year as a registered captain guide. So I got my captain's license and been guiding officially for my third year. But I started, got into catfishing really only it's been about 10 years, 9 years now. Is really what got me into catfishing. Is I was, somebody took me snagging, opening night, midnight, brought me out to Osceola, Missouri, and was like, "We're gonna go catch these prehistoric fish." I'm like, "Cool, I'm dumb. Let's go." So we go out snagging, and I'm hurt. 3:00 in the morning, or it was 2:30 in the morning. I'm pulling these hooks through the water, 2.5 hours. We ain't got nothing but these little hot dogs that we caught. And I hit a 53-pounder, the first spoonbill that ever. From that day on, I was addicted. Bought a boat. All I wanted to do was spoonbill during spoonbill season. But the rest of the year, I found myself with a boat with nothing to catch. And I was intrigued over blue cat because I know they get big. Bass fisherman as a kid, I got, ditch pickles only get so big. And I'm at an age where I want this. So I started doing a little blue cat fishing because Lake of the Ozarks, awesome blue cat fishing. I went out with a couple guides And I'm not the kind of guy where I do anything small. So whenever I decided to blue cat, I didn't buy one boat. I got 2 boats. I decided to be a guide. I got 60 rods. I mean, I'm obsessive. So my wife just says it's a reason for me to buy more stuff. I say it's a reason for me to spend the rest of my life on the water doing something awesome. So I decided that I wanted to guide, and this is what I want to do, is to live at the lake and be a guide and spend the rest of my years on the water taking people to fish for all kinds of fish. I don't just fish for blue cat. Blue cat happens to be my passion at this point, and that's what I'm really target. I love the tournament scene. I like catching big fish, little fish, kids, women. I mean, I love every part of doing this blue cat thing. But so I went from the spoonbill because I had a boat and I needed to fill all this extra time, to blue cat. And now that I'm here, I can't get enough of it. And it's just everything I do is blue cat this, blue cat that. And I want to go here to fish for blue cat. Well, where do you want to go on vacation? I don't know where they got blue cat. You know,
Right.
It's just kind of in my blood at this point. So.
And you help get a lot of people. That's how it starts. Is just a guy took me out one time. I pleasure boated. He took me out and we caught a 50-pound blue, one of the first ones we got. And like, I was in 100% in. So
Yeah.
the more, you take people out like you do, I mean, I bet a lot of those anglers now are chasing fish and are really getting involved. So that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. No, you get to take a lot of people that, quick story. The guy that got to catch the 85, never really been into sports his whole life, probably in his 40s. 2 years ago, his neighbor took him hunting or fishing for the very first time. So he gets him to go on this guided spoonbill catfish combo. Slow day, probably had a dozen catfish after spoonbilling in the morning. 3:30, I pull into a cove and I'm graphing, and I just stopped the boat. I'm like, guys, it's on. I go, I'm graphing, so many fish around us. I couldn't get one bait in the water, casting out the second one, first pole goes over kind of stuff. We weren't there 20 minutes and caught that 85-pound fish at the end of the day. Waded in, but that guy did something that I don't know anybody that's caught an 85-plus pound fish out of that lake. So he got to do something that he don't even realize how big that is for him. And for me, being able to do that with him is pretty cool. So yeah, it's awesome.
That's good. And then Joe's even starting to guide, right?
He went and got his captain's license a couple months ago, and he's going to be doing some guiding up in St. Louis for Show Me, I believe, for Ryan Casey and his crew.
Yeah, it's so cool watching you guys. We were just talking about you, Joe. All good stuff, but
I real quick.
I remember the first events you guys did, and when you're new into it, and then fast forward a couple years later. Actually, I got a really good picture of you, Jason, at Warsaw. I think you were getting your rod ready or something before takeoff, and to think where you started, now you're guiding, you're like ate up with it. I mean, that's cool, and now you're getting more people involved. So it's just kind of a effect that you have is once you go out and you catch that first fish.
Well, it's a passion you show too, going fishing with everybody's not the same. And I got a lot of people that fish with me that just keep coming back because I show so much passion in what I do. It makes it fun for them. They're like, man, I ain't had fun in a boat fishing with somebody for a while. And now I've found you, and they just keep coming back because now I got buddies, they're my buddies in the boat, and that's what we do all day. And we just go out and have a good time fishing. And
I would. There's a lot of anglers I'd like to be on a boat with. I got a list, but I'd love to go out with you two. Would be a ride, sure.
Me and Joe have good times. Me and Joe's been friends since our young man ages. So
I mean, it's been 28, 30 years now.
Yeah, 28-ish years or so.
Because Joe, you live. Not a lot of people probably know where Dittmer is, but Dittmer, that's south of St. Louis. I mean, you're on the other side of the state from Truman now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we actually both lived in Columbia, Missouri, is where we both lived. So Joe moved I met Joe and lost Joe and met Joe like 5 different times. He'd just move away, and then he'd show up like, "Hey, I'm Joe. I'm back." And he just did that year after year. And over the time, he's finally settled down and found him a spot where he's going to stay permanently. But
I don't
we've
know
known
about
each other
permanently.
since we were teenagers. So
Yeah, there's never no permanently. I mean, I'm heading to the ocean like slowly but surely.
someday
Yeah,
I'm going to the lake of the Ozarks, and you're going to the ocean.
right, right.
Joe's in the pursuit for fish that I can't do this big for.
Yeah.
And you did that recently, Joe, right? Did you chase like a grouper or something? Didn't you go south?
Yeah, I went down south to the Keys down with Tyler Moses and hung out with him for a while and learned a little bit about the Keys and fishing, all that stuff, and all the winds and tides and all that stuff. And then I go up to Alaska every other year, which me and Jason are doing in August, and that's one hell of a trip right there. I mean, come back with so much salmon, it's just amazing.
I'm pretty excited about that one.
But I tend to travel a little bit of everywhere and try to experience things on all sides of the world. I've been so many different places fishing. It's crazy. But
you love them blue cats.
Yeah, them blue cats, man, they got me addicted, and especially since I started fishing. I've been catfishing since I was a little kid, bank fishing and stuff. And then Jason, hits me up one day and like, "Hey, we need to go blue catfishing on Lake of the Ozarks." And I'm like, "All right, let's do this." And then next thing you know, we're like, "Well, let's go with Ryan Casey." And then the next thing you know, I'm got like 6 trips booked with Show Me Catfishing and trying to learn everything I can on these rivers close to home, and establish a relationship with Ryan Casey and Tyler Moses and Mark Farrow and everybody, and kind of just everything's exploded from there, and it's exploding quick. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to the future of fishing.
Yeah, because you're going to start guiding the area, right? We're just when you walked away for a break, we talked about you getting your license and working with Ryan. Which Ryan Casey's got a lot. He's been doing it for a long time, and even Tyler Moses, I got to go out with him this winter. And he was guiding down in the Gulf. Which is, he's all over, and then he does I think he does duck hunting somewhere out west, and he's always doing something.
Yeah, he's definitely one of my people I look up to for sure. Him, Ryan Casey, Jason. I mean, I got a lot of people that I look up to and look to for advice and stuff. And I actually started guiding for Show Me Catfishing last month on a temporary basis. While I still got my business going, I'm doing some guiding and stuff. I got a couple trips booked next month, and I mean, I'm slowly working into the full-time guide business, but they're helping me out along the way.
So what do you do on your regular stuff? Don't you tell us about that?
I own a crazy lineman business. I got a bunch of crazy ass linemen that travel all over the world and like to have fun. It's one of those.
But you want to get in, but you want to get into the guiding full time.
Yeah, I'm wanting to slide my way into guiding. Figure out things with the business and slide my way into full-time guiding. And I want to be on the ocean. Most importantly, I want to be down doing deep sea fishing. Right now this is a good middle point for me and a good learning curve, but I'm ready to get to the ocean.
Yeah, cool. Well, you got to start. You had a rough Alton.
Oh my gosh, I don't even want to talk about Alton.
So now you got to really step it up in Truman.
Yeah, I mean, we got to double step it up in Truman.
Double step it up.
Double
Yeah,
step.
that
Got to
was-
catch a fish, Joe.
Yeah, got to at least catch a fish. I mean,
Take it home
one.
from Team Crazy Cats.
So what event are you looking most forward to out of the schedule so far?
Out of the schedule so far, I'd have to say probably looking forward to Cape Girardeau the most, wouldn't you say, Jason?
I like my Mississippi River fishing. I'm kind of, I haven't been to Ohio, the Jeffersonville, Indiana yet. So
That's going to be pretty
that sounds
cool.
like it's going to be a real interesting tournament, and interested in getting on that section of water.
Yeah. I'm excited for Keystone too. I think, going to Tulsa, there's not a lot of tournaments that are out of Oklahoma. So trying to expand, getting into Oklahoma, and Tulsa looks like a fun area. They got a lot of neat things to take your family.
Yeah.
And especially Keystone. Keystone looks fun. So I'll probably head out there this summer and do a little fishing with some people and kind of check it out. And really excited about going out there.
Go down there and catch you some of their world record paddlefish.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
I've yet to do that. I think in Oklahoma, you can do that year round. Is that right?
Year round.
Yeah, it's year round.
You're allowed to keep
Yes.
one fish a year, but you
Yeah,
can catch
one.
as many as you want.
Yeah.
Now where was I at just recently? Somebody was showing me they caught a paddlefish somewhere and they did the mount. And I guess
They beetled the skull.
Yeah, that looks actually really cool.
Yeah, it's all little webby looking bill on
Well,
that.
how do you do that? Or does some of your people do that? Or
Yeah, so I'll tell you 2 Facebook pages. If you're in Missouri and you get a paddlefish and you want to get it beetled, you can get on Missouri Paddlefish Association and Missouri Spoonbill Association. I think association. They're Facebook pages, and just ask. But there's probably a dozen people in Missouri that beetle spoonbill heads after season. Some taxidermists offer it because it's also a process that some taxidermists use to clean deer skulls and stuff like that.
Right.
But they basically set it in a tub of beetle in a couple weeks.
super cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, I had a couple.
Don't most of them put them in a glass case or something?
Yeah, put in a little display case, hang it on your wall, something like that. People catch them over 75. I'll tell them they can get it done. And I had a couple people, they'll take their heads home and get them beetled.
So it's got to be over 75, or is that just kind of what you say?
No, I'm just telling them, you catch one over 75, you did something pretty good, last year, I had a weird year last year. We didn't catch many over 75, 2 or 3. Another guy down the water caught several over 100 last year. It's different every year. Some people catch fish with tags, and we have spoonbill that have a ring in their lip, some that have a transponder in their belly. And ringed fish, you get a shirt at the end of the year. What they do is they'll send you the paperwork where they tagged the fish, where you caught and then where you caught it, so you can see where that fish traveled. We have many fish that they tagged in Truman that they catch out of the Osage River 2 dams down. So those fish traveled down through the dams. That's pretty cool. Yeah, they'll catch one on Mississippi River that was tagged in Truman Lake. Clear up by Stockton Lake, which is 80 miles of water or something crazy. Yeah. So it's cool that, that program. And then whenever you get the tag fish, they'll send you a shirt that says, I caught a Missouri spoonbill or Missouri spoonie or something. So you get that along with the info.
Yeah, Sean said a buddy got a tagged spoonbill out of Wigwam that came from Truman last year. So I didn't know they could really go through those dams. Yeah.
So I'm on my phone, so I can't read the comments. So I can't get my phone where it will do that. My computer's a dinosaur.
You don't want to read the comments they're talking about you, bro.
I know. Look at that dude's head. It's so big.
No, it's all good stuff.
Right.
That's what he says.
No, it is for sure. All right. Well, anything else you guys got to add?
We did
for sure, but
I don't think we really talked enough about the the safety of staying in the channel in that area of the water. I mean, that's one really important thing that everybody needs to realize is, have a good map card, stay in your channel, and that channel is going to go like it's going to look like you're on Street Outlaws or, Fast and the Furious or something, because it's going to go from one side of the lake all the way to the other. And that's the way the channel actually runs. And, if you get outside that channel, throttle down real quick and make sure you're in a safe zone.
Yeah, it's true. So, I mean, obviously, the Navionics or the Lake Master is going to be something that you want to really stay connected with, especially in the morning, because the time change makes it darker later, right? In the morning?
Yeah,
Right,
it was
yes.
6, now
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, now don't get
it's
daylight
now
till
not light till
7.
7:30 when it
Yeah,
was
almost till
6:30.
7. So, I mean, it's, you just want to be really careful and idle and make sure that, which, some of the anglers that want to fish, I mean, I think quite a few won't make long runs with,
Right.
what they're fishing, but,
Yeah, I think the biggest
Still-
thing is just if you don't know it, don't do it. Just go out there and know your path before you take it when it's still dark, because it's a stumpy place. I'd hate to see somebody lose a prop or a whole lower unit or even worse. It's
Know
lots
your
of
path.
stumps.
Yeah, know your path before you're heading out on tournament morning. Like if you're trying to speed out on tournament morning and get to a spot, make sure you've drove that path and know that path to where, you're not second guessing yourself or needing to have some kind of emergency repairs done.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Especially it's going to be chilly.
Oh,
It's gonna
yeah.
be
It's gonna
really
be
chilly.
Really chilly. Yeah, I'll be
chilly.
interested in watching people try to get bait those 2 mornings. Their net's freezing coming out of the water and forming those ice in front of their boats as they're throwing the nets. It's
Good
fun
thing
part
you're
about
getting that
fishing
bait
all
for me,
winter
right?
long is I experience that, every morning that I fish. That's some mornings it's 18 degrees and you pull that net in and it's ice by the time you're knocking the shad out of it. But that's another thing on Truman. If you're gonna be throwing for your bait on Truman, make sure you guys bring 2 nets, because with the amount of trees, there's a good chance you might get hung up if you don't do a good graph and pay attention to what you're throwing into.
Could be crappie you're throwing on.
It could be a treetop.
Treetop.
Well, anybody looking for bait, I can tell the biggest thing I can tell you is most people have luck just around those docks at Bucksaw. A lot of people know about the Bucksaw ramp, so it's going to be pretty heavily picked, but a lot of people can get their bait around that area. As of last week, upper end Lake of the Ozarks, I was getting my bait out of 12 foot of water. I fished the day before that lower end of the Lake of the Ozarks, and I was pulling my bait out of 25 foot of water off the bottom. Whole nets full. You could not hit the school bus that was under my boat on that end. So,
but make sure you got extra long ropes in case the bait is deep.
Yeah, I would assume
if you only got a 15-foot net, you need to have a little bit of rope on it.
I think this time of the year you'll probably find it in 20 foot of water-ish. 20, it could be in 30. That upper end, it's hard to find a lot of deep water. So I think those bait will be in that 15 maybe.
What is deep water in that lake, would you say? Because I know like Lake of the Ozark has some really deep water.
Yeah, during the winter I fished that end of the lake. There's not many other catfish guides that fish the Bagnall end of Lake of the Ozarks, which is what I fish. And I graphed 115 over by the dam in the main channel. And I fished as deep as 105 this year catching fish.
Yeah, that's deep.
Hey.
I've never caught fish that deep.
Hey,
Yeah,
and one thing people need to know, if you're catching fish deep, make sure you got you a half-inch piece of PVC with the end taped up or something and able to deflate that fish's intestines to let that fish go back down if you have to release it or if you need to bring it in for weigh-in. Because if
100%.
the intestines are coming out the mouth, you're not going to have a live fish when you come in for weigh-in. You know, you need to, if you don't know how to do it, look it up on YouTube or ask somebody and, you know, learn how to get the air out of the fish's intestines to where, you know, you can actually keep a live fish.
Yeah, that's great. We do that on the Mississippi when we're catching them in, even in 40 feet.
Yeah.
Especially when it's hot out, and we'll bring the fish up and always try to bring, especially if it's a big fish, it might take a while to get up, but we always lay them down, and we've built a little pipe that goes in with holes in it. And you can always hear them burp out, and usually it's nasty, but it's especially when you have a fish that's floating sideways in your live well. I mean, that's important.
Another way that is just in case that someone does catch a fish and doesn't have that, if you can set that fish and prop him up on his belly in the floor of your boat, usually within a minute or so, the weight of that fish will push that air out of that fish. That can help. Also, wintertime, the problem is we have a slot, and the slot is where you run into that problem a lot during the winter because we have to release those fish by law immediately unharmed. So to keep that fish in your live well, to let it decompress in your live well is illegal. And sometimes you just can't get that thing to burp. So I'll set them on my floor for a good minute and a half before I set them back if I, for some reason, can't get my burp stick to work.
Yeah. And that's just like Sean said, they got a hard belly. You'll know that when you kind of feel them, but
yeah,
that's important. And just like, again, like you mentioned, that's against the law to have a fish 26 to 34.
Correct.
So
yeah.
as an angler, you got to make sure that, you have your ruler ready. So when you bring a fish, because I would say if you're catching fish, there's a very good chance that you catch one in the slot this coming weekend.
Oh,
yeah, I
it's
think
going to be
we're
really
going to
good.
catch several in the slot.
Good. Yeah, I hate slot. I hate them slot fish. They drive me nuts.
Joe's a river fisherman. He don't know what to think about our slot limits here at the lake. I'm more accustomed to it,
Yeah, why am I throwing this fish back? I can't do it. Yeah, I don't like it.
But it makes it tough, and it makes it, you know what I mean? Everything's got to come together for you to have them three unders, the two overs, or, I've seen it where 5 unders won a tournament.
That's right. It's 2 overs, 3 unders, so 50.
2 overs, 3 unders, or 1 under, or 1 over, 4 unders, or whatever. But and again, I don't think flatheads will do anything.
I don't think so. No, channel cats might come into play. You might get a 12-pound channel come in and get weighed. We do catch some decent sized channels. It's not very often, but I fished a tournament 2 years ago where I weighed an 11-pound channel cat during a tournament because it was bigger than my other unders. So we see, I see a few of those. I don't, unless you drop one on their face, I don't see anybody pulling out a flathead in 46-degree water. It's pretty chilly.
That brings back actually. So the tournament was rough at Alton. And then Sunday morning, I'm on my way home, and I get a text from one of the anglers, and he didn't weigh any fish, but he goes, Alex, I thought I had a record. And he sent me the video, and he fought a fish for 30 minutes. It was all on video. He's like, it was going upriver, and it was a sturgeon.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say was a sturgeon.
And I'm like, dude, that's terrible. But imagine you're in a tournament, and you think you have a record fish. It's going upriver, and then you finally get it 30 minutes later, and it was a giant. I mean, a giant. So, that was kind of cool, but I've yet to catch a sturgeon. I've been doing this for a while, and I've not caught one, but some people have caught some nice sturgeon.
Man, right now the chain of rocks is, well, once the water's low anyway, chain of rocks is really good for that. But if we had decided that day, if we caught a sturgeon or pretty much anything, we was going to bring it in and be like, oh, hey, check this. Oh, sorry, guys, wrong fish.
We had a couple shad that were big enough to be weighed.
Yeah, we got those from Donald Moore. Them huge.
Those things had to be 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds.
He probably rubbed something on them so they wouldn't get no bite, probably like garlic or something.
Right.
Right.
Spread a little hot sauce on them.
Yeah. Well, I think they got seventh place, Donald and Charlie.
Yeah, they
Yep.
did. They did.
But it was a rough fight. I mean, look at that. It came down to ounces between first and second, even third, fourth, and fifth. I mean, it was a close wait.
I was totally shocked by the low weigh-in.
That was probably a record,
all those
wasn't
anglers
it?
out there, you would figure that I just thought someone was going to catch one fish over 70 pounds, and it was 70 pounds to win that thing, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey,
Jason
Hamilton.
brought up,
Yes, there is still vacancy as I talked to him today. So just call Bucksaw Marina.
Yeah, Bucksaw Marina. That's where everything's going to be out of. That's going to be that's probably the best place to stay. You don't have to really drive at all. They're definitely losing probably some of the kitchenettes and the stuff closer. Because what did you get, Joe?
I got a kitchenette and I got a dock that pulls right up to my front door with the boat. So I'll be barbecuing, drinking beer, and having fun on my boat right there out in front. So come on down and see me. I'm leaving Wednesday.
You're leaving Wednesday.
Wednesday morning. So I'll be there by 8 o'clock Wednesday morning. Okay. I'm gonna get down there and try to sore lip everybody's fish real quick.
Yeah. So no, Jason, make sure you call Bucksaw tomorrow morning and get a reserve a spot. Like I said, they got a lot of rooms, but depending on what you want, especially if you want something close to the water, I would get that called in.
A suggestion or two, just for people that ain't from the area: Parkfield Inn in both Clinton and Warsaw, both being within 30 minutes of that ramp, are probably the nicest hotels in both towns. Clinton has a little bit more options as far as food and stuff. Warsaw's being a little smaller of a town, and Clinton is probably a little closer as well.
So Bucksaw is probably almost just right in between.
Yeah, a little closer to Clinton, but almost right in between. Yep.
Yeah. Rusty,
Perfect.
Stay away from me. Don't be looking for my boat.
Yeah, Rusty, he's bringing pops. They'll be cooking some fish. They'll be ready.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a good time with him.
Plenty of fish there to eat. You guys catch all them 2-pounders and fry them up while you're down here. It would make us happy people.
The first 3 days, that's what it's all about, is bringing fish and skinning them and throw them in the freezer and getting me some good, clean blue catfish to take home.
Yeah. Do you think coming there? I mean, do you think anybody will get skunked on Saturday?
Man, it's gonna be. If you get skunked on Saturday, it's going to be hard, and it's going to be because you caught a bunch of slots and probably nothing else.
No, I fish these waters enough anymore that if you get skunked on one of these two lakes, then you had something not going for you. You had a bad bait. You just picked a really bad spot. Your electronics are on demo mode, and we're just totally lying to you. Lots of different factors, but I mean, a man can put a 2-pound fish in these waters without really trying. I mean, they're fish is plentiful. A man should be able to weigh a 5-fish bag pretty easy, even in pretty rough conditions. It might take you all day to catch those 5, but you can. I don't see anybody getting skunked unless you just really have an issue with a boat or just really don't know the waters and got scared to leave the front of the marina or something.
Yeah, I've known somebody that had their sonar on that demo mode.
Back when
everybody has.
Man, there was so many fish under the boat, back on when you got the electronics with the little fish and that thing's like this big, little piranha units from back in the day. And we were spoon billing and we fished half a day and we're like, man, this thing says there's fish everywhere. And he gets to playing with it. He's like, it's been on demo mode the whole day. Well, there was no fish on that screen after that because there was no fish where we were fishing. So,
Rusty, I hope that first round is on you, bud.
I'm gonna write this down. So I'm gonna go 90 pounds.
90 pounds. I'll give you so 2 overs, 3 unders.
Yep, 2 overs, 3 unders. I'm gonna go 90 pounds total weight. Big fish. 42.
I like the 42.
Everybody watching, comment in the comments, put your big fish and your total weight. It's a 2 under or 2 over 3 under. And then we'll go back to this video, and next Monday night, I'll have the winner. We'll have the winner of who guessed the best. We'll have the winner, hopefully, of the event on the show and talk about. I always love it because we get to talk the before and then after.
Right.
So Joe, you might be back on Monday, or Joe, you might be in the comments on Monday.
Right.
Joe will have to
saying,
do it for
"Well,
me. I will be on the water Monday with no internet, sir.
Yeah,
So
I'm still
be
saying
still.
I'm still going with that 111, and I still think a 56-pound would be the biggest.
So 56.
56 for the biggest.
56. That would be 3 fat unders and a 30 and a 50. I like that too.
I mean,
I definitely think that there's the potential of a good fish getting caught that day. There's enough anglers with enough knowledge and enough baits in the water that I think the big fish is going to come in at 63 pounds.
I like that one too.
Wow, that's a big fish.
I think there's a chance that somebody's going to catch a 60 this week.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, they're in there clear up in the 80s. People catch them every year. I think somebody's going to pull a 60 this week. I think with that 60, though, they're only going to be able to get
maybe a 30 and
one
a
more
40.
under. But I will say that under is going to be my favorite under number because we catch a billion of them, and that fish is going to weigh 23 pounds. No, that's an over. And then 3 unders, 22 inches. So we're going to give that guy a weight of 63, 73, 83, 102, 100 pounds flat. We'll go with a nice even number. 100 pounds flat.
Okay, I got you down for 63 and 100.
63 and 100. Now I need somebody to pull a big fish out of the lake for me this weekend, but it's the kind of lake where, if they don't break them off in the trees, I think somebody's going to pull a big fish out of that lake. So
all right,
that's
Joe,
going to be the problem is the trees are going to be the equalizer.
No, Joe, nope. We're not doing that. We're not.
I'm not backing out. I'm not backing out.
We're not doing it. You had a big one on. You had it on. It was a tree shaker. You can be like that alligator guy, the swamp people. It was a tree shaker, and then you lost it. So what are you going with? Let me write this down. Write it down.
56 pounds big fish.
56 big.
111 total.
These weights are, I hope that y'all are right, but I don't know that we're going to break 100, but I like it. All right, Joe. Anything less, I'm just going to be disappointed in you, okay?
I mean, if we don't get enough fishermen, then I don't know about that. Do the odds change as the least boats
as
come
the boats don't come? No, I
plan on you having over 100.
Oh, I'm 111 is where I'm coming in.
That's your
number. Hold on.
Hey, if I catch anything over, I'm gonna throw it back. I'm gonna be like, no, that's 112.
And I'm gonna check my list on what you predicted you catching in Alton. Hold on, just a second.
No, don't look at that. Do
Do
not look at that thing.
That you were going to catch.
I'm glad I wasn't part of that bet, Joe.
Yeah, I didn't. All I said was I was going to catch fish, and I didn't even do that. So.
Yeah, you didn't predict this. You didn't predict that, did you?
Yeah, no, I did not. A big fat 0. Yeah, that was a great day. Hey, that was a good day to be shot down. It's a humbling day that me and Jason went out. We had fun, and the day actually, was a really good day. It was an experience of a lifetime, and I'm really not too disheartened by that big fat 0.
What did you learn? Would you say? Did you learn what's 1 or 2 things that you learned by the weather change, the water change, like that you'll do next time? Obviously, seeing out of 68 teams, only 20 teams weighed fish. Did you learn something from those where you can next year you'll be able to adapt to that condition?
I would like to say yes, but the fish this year have been so insanely indecisive that the patterns that I had seen in the years before, the fish have not been doing this year whatsoever. It's like they forgot wintertime was even here or even coming, or they went straight from the fall pattern straight to the spring pattern. And, I would say the only thing I would change is probably go up river farther and get out of the trash a little quicker than what we were.
I think I agree with Joe. I think, if I learned anything from that experience is look for maybe less river rise, and knowing how that the water's flowing, knowing that there was less rain to the west and the northwest, that maybe we should have pushed farther up the river just to find a little cleaner water. I mean, by noon we were really getting no surface debris, but still a lot of grass and stuff coming through the water. So really, I think if we would have probably pushed a lot farther upstream, we probably could have avoided a little bit of that debris. And I think that's probably a key takeaway from that particular tournament.
I think so too.
We should have chased cleaner water and a little less, fluctuation in the level. I think we probably would have went 20 miles upstream. I think there was probably about 2 foot less rise in the water, and probably it had to have been less debris if we were seeing the end of it by noon.
Yeah, we were already seeing the end of it.
And would have been clean by the time we would have put in the morning. So
because I think Jason John Nettie went up river, but also I think second place was down at the confluence.
I think maybe the push out of and I don't know where they were at the confluence. If they were fishing in the Missouri at the confluence, kudos to them, because the amount of debris and trash coming down there all day long had been brutal. If they were actually up in the Mississippi, it could have been a lot cleaner flow coming out of Illinois than what we had coming up out of the southern parts of the Missouri River, where it went through Washington area. So. But, I don't know the exact conditions they were fishing. They might have just got some clean water or found some fish that were going to eat no matter what. We just got fish that were even willing to eat that day. So,
and the confluence this time of year is just pretty hot in general. So if you can weed through the 30 to 40 people that are all there fishing and be the luck of the draw, that's kind of what it is.
I think that's kind of why me and Joe picked not to really go to that area, is because we know we fished that area last year and we had some really good bites and lost some really nice fish. But man, it was bumper boats all day long. I mean, there was one guy pulling out and the next guy pulling in the 30 spots that are right there that people fish. So we wanted to really avoid the bumper boats this year, try to get away from your main flux of people that really like to fish that area, because it does produce some really nice fish. We kind of just wanted to get away from that and do our own thing.
Yeah.
And it screwed us.
It happens,
That's what. So Mike was second place. He said that they fished the Mississippi until noon. So
nice.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's just, it's about being at the right place at the right time and knowing what those fish are doing and following them. And,
it's all about learning from past mistakes, learn something from each event and try to move forward and make a better fisherman out of yourself.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
And have fun while doing it. Don't be a little crabby ass. Have fun and do it.
Yeah,
it's a perfect example of it's fishing and not catching, because every day is just totally different. If you're not willing to adjust and just try something different, then you just be stuck not catching fish all day. And I will tell you, we tried everything that day to put a fish in the boat. Shallow, deep, flow, no flow, back flow. And we just could not get on anything that wasn't the channel cat eating the back of my rib meat off. That was about the only bite we had all day. So
Yeah, that's why Donald says why we do what we do, and it's just like I said, the fishing part of it is just one aspect of the whole event. The whole weekend is going there, hanging out with friends, and cooking
Yes.
barbecue, and like I said,
Absolutely.
working on trolling motors till midnight because your blade's messing up, or getting your reels ready and putting new line on them. It's always something, but every tournament I always learn something from another angler, what they did differently, and it just makes you better. So
Well, I think that's what's
Well,
cool about this circuit is a lot of people call, and I got a call from a guy today just asking questions and just bullshit, and I think it's cool that the camaraderie that the people are, that we just kind of share and mingle and tell each other little tidbits of knowledge. I ain't gonna tell you my spot, but I'll tell you what I did to catch some fish. And it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. So.
It's one of the more humbling series that you could be in. I mean, as far as like the group of people that we have, that everybody's willing to talk to you, give you advice, help out, have fun. I mean, this has really been one of the best series that you could fish for real.
Yeah, because you can have a good day and then you can have an Alton day and really humble you in a hurry.
Hey, and then they still make fun of you, I mean, it's just part of it.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, hey, thank you both for being on here tonight. Like I said, this is the 4th show in a row, and our goal is to keep on rolling, bringing value to, anglers that are just, there's a lot of new anglers getting into the sport, getting into the tournament side of things. And, we still do the grassroots, so any questions, this is a great show for it. We're going to bring new people on every Monday and just keep on rolling. We're going to do some cool stuff in the future. When it gets a little warmer, we might do some boat stuff. So maybe in 2 months, we're on a boat doing this show. So we're really excited about changing things as this show kind of progresses. And, anything you want to see or questions, definitely let us know. And again, I'm sure I'll have you guys on at some point. And it's been fun watching you two fish the last few years and look at where you're at now. You know what I mean? So that's pretty cool.
Right.
Now you're both guys, and that's awesome to see. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's been incredible strides from where we was and where we're at now. And, like I say, it wouldn't have happened without everybody that's backing us and all the good info we get from people and, just the camaraderie of everybody in the fishing industry, period.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a really
fun,
good start. Look forward to see where we go from here, really.
Yeah, just keep on rolling. In 5 years, Joe's going to be doing fishing for grouper. You're going to be living high on the lake.
Yep.
Hopefully you'll still fish a few tournaments. I don't know. But like I said, it's been fun, and I enjoy watching the sport grow like it has, and, showing rigs and why we're fishing shallow water, and just watching more people get involved. So, yeah.
Any new guys that are thinking about getting in, this is the time. Like, this is the best tournament series to get into, where people are going to help you out. People are going to be there to show you a little bit of wisdom. People are going to be there for you. And if you have any doubts about joining in and getting in this series, you should just do it, and we'll be here for you.
Yeah. It's like a family.
That's right.
Really, our family.
La Familia.
Right, yeah. Thank you guys for taking your time tonight. And Jason, good luck with opening spoonbill season. And Joe, you got a lot of work to do this weekend to catch up.
Yeah, I'll be seeing you. When are you coming down?
I'll be there early Friday morning, but I'm gonna 56 pounds. I'm not losing this sheet of paper. 111 total. So
Can I catch that early and still win?
Is that a total for the weekend, Joe?
That was a total for the week.
together?
Yeah, it was a total for the week.
Oh,
the big fish will be totaled 56 pounds, and yeah, I'm gonna cut it off at that point. You know, like, hey, if we add this one up, and this one up, we're good to go, right?
yeah, you're kidding
I
me,
think
man.
I think it's a heck of a lake. It's going to be a heck of a tournament, and if the weather don't mess everything up, there's going to be a lot of decent fish caught. So
Heck yeah.
Yeah, let's hope that weather changes where it's not 32 on Saturday for a high, but
Well,
it is what it is. That's why it's fishing.
we're in the
Yeah,
wonderful
it's
state of
fishing.
misery, so the weather is always changing for us. So
Looks like you're in
Well, hey.
Chicago right now.
no, I'm at Corona Street in Chicago.
There you go. I love it.
Home
All right.
office, Columbia, Missouri.
I'm in Sea Arc.
NCR.
Right there.
I thought it was Harley.
Beautiful.
There we go. Oh,
Harley
Sea
on
Arc
one
and
side,
Harley.
New York on the other.
Yeah, there we go.
Alex, I
I love
appreciate you having me on your
Yeah,
show.
thank you very
And
much.
thank you guys again. And Joe, hopefully I have you back on Monday night talking about your 111 total with a 56-pound big fish.
That sounds perfect.
Okay. All right. Again, everybody, thanks for watching. Tune in next Monday. We'll be live at Truman Lake this weekend, Saturday at around 3 for the live weigh-in. And we're excited to get our second event of the 2023 season kicked off. And look for details tomorrow talking about our championship at a brand new location with tons of money. We'll see you Saturday. Thanks for watching.
All right. Thanks, Alex.